Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing fine. And guess what? Today is the last session on research aptitude. We have already covered every single thing in Unit 2, which is our research aptitude, right? Previously, we talked about generalization, interpretation, communication, right? And all these style of referencing. We also talked about thesis writing and style of referencing and article writing in our previous session. And today we are going to continue our session on application of ICT in research. Very important. And at the end of the session, we're gonna talk about research ethics, which is quite important, right? So let's talk about how cool this ICT, information and communication technology, is in the world of research, especially in higher education. Basically, it's like a superpower of researchers. They can store tons of information, find what they need, like in a really super fast manner, and process it all that data without breaking a sweat. And the best part, they can get their hands on research data from all over the world without spending a fortune. Isn't that amazing how research is like so easy these days to achieve? You don't have to travel around the world to find out, right? And now when it comes to gathering data, ICT is a game changer. Imagine having a library in your pocket. Researcher can access lots of books, research papers and articles online from big publishers, right? And it's like having a key to a treasure trove of academic resources. So let's begin. We are going to begin with ShodhGanga, which is very important, and let me tell you about this particular thing, right? And this is a super cool digital place where you can find all kind of bunch of these thesis and dissertation from Indian universities. Think of it as a deep dive into research and discovery. Just like its name suggests, Sodh means research and Ganga is the famous river in India, right? And it's run by who? By the InflibNet Center, which is part of University Grant Commission of India. You can download and read these theses, which is pretty awesome, right? And it started at where? Gujarat University, but now where is it situated? In Gandhinagar since 2030. I hope you got the point, right? And then we have National Digital Library of India. So imagine a massive virtual library with all sorts of learning stuff like textbooks, articles, videos, audiobooks, and even cool kind of simulation, right? It's a project by the Ministry of Education, and it's all about making education awesome through tech, right? And next we have e-ShodhSindhu. Well, think of this as a huge online library set up by the Ministry of Education, right? Formerly known as HRD Ministry. So it's like a mashup of all big digital library project like UGC Infonet, and we have INSET AICT consortium. And what's cool about this particular thing is that it's packed with e-journals, old journal archives and ebooks, all these stuff, right, that you can access forever. Plus it includes content created by top institute like IITs and IIMs, right? And this was started in where? IIT Gandhinagar. So now let's talk about our next, which is E-yantra, and this one started by the Ministry of Education and is all about giving engineering students a real hands-on experience. And it is run by IIT Bombay, and it offers video lectures that mix math, computer science and engineering. It's especially great if you don't have easy access to labs or mentors, right? So E-yantra brings the lab to you. So this is wonderful thing that you can do. Now let's talk about E-Acharya. So ever wished for a one-stop shop for all your learning materials? E-Acharya is like that. It's an online portal where you can find ebooks and e-content for literally every subject and faculty. You can find audio, video and text resources all in one place. And this cool portal is part of the National Mission of Education through ICT, started by the Ministry of Education and put together by who? IIT Kharagpur. Right, so that was all about E-Acharya. Now let's move to another important resource, which is ERIC, and the full form is Education Resources Information Center. So ERIC is basically a gold mine for researchers and educators in all the fields. It's a comprehensive database filled with research papers and educational resources. So if you're diving into a research project or just curious about a topic, guys, ERIC is the place to go for, right? And next we're going to talk about NPTEL, right? And this is a kind of your go-to for science and tech courses. Well, imagine a hub where you can access a ton of university level courses in science, tech and engineering, and also in maths. That's NPTEL for you guys. It's like a joint project by the superhero of technology education in India, like the IITs and IIS, right? And you name it. And guess what? The Indian government is footing to the bill for this one through the Ministry of Human Resource and Development. And the cool part is NPTEL isn't just some online platform. It's a massive YouTube channel with tons of videos on engineering, basic science, and even some arts and social science topic, right? It's like having a personal tutor for every subject with lectures from the big guns at IITs, NIITs, and IIS. And of course, whether you're looking for a specific topic or a whole chapter, well guys, they have got you covered. You just go and look on, right? And next we're going to talk about, very important for the research buddy, is like E-Vidwan. Well, now if you're into a research or need expert advice, right, then E-Vidwan is like your backstage pass. And it is created by Inflibnet, which sounds like a cool science agency, right? And it's really important in our research and of course in Indian Digital Library. Well, and it is financially supported by WHO National Mission on Education through ICT. Right, and this platform is all about connecting you with experts and research scientists. Isn't that amazing for you, especially who are doing research, right? And if you need to find who's in the research world, E-Vidwan has a list looking for funding. They have got that too. Plus, it's a great spot to seek out peer-reviewed journals and shape up your research proposal. It's a social network for a brainy fox where you can exchange ideas and get inspired. So guys, that was all about E-Vidwan. Now let's move to other cool tools for data collection. Well, it's basic tools that everybody uses, right? Like we have Google Scholar. So this is like your treasure map for a scholarly article. If you haven't used it, just go to Google Scholar and you would be amazed. Like there are a lot of sources if you're doing research, and if you are interested in reading articles and all this stuff, you'll find it, right? And you will also get like research papers, important journals, and article across like various disciplines. Think of it as Google but for the researcher. Right, and next we have Microsoft Academic Search, and this one's like a detective tool for academics. It works the same way like Google Scholar, and it helps you to find into academic papers, authors, and even conferences. If there's something academic out there, well, Microsoft Academic Search is on the case, guys. You can just go and look at it, right? Then we have another tool that is Mendeley, and you must have heard about it, right? And if you're reader who reads a lot of research paper, well guys, this will be a gold mine for you. Imagine a platform that makes of Facebook your favorite library and visualization tool. Mendeley lets you network with other researchers, manage your references, and even visualize article. It's like the Swiss Army knife in your research, right? Then we have SSN, and this is your go for anything related to social science. It's an online repository where you can find lots of scholarly research and material, perfect for when you're diving deep into social science topic, right? So there you have it, a bunch of super useful platform and tools to help you ace your research and study. Remember, whether you're just curious about a topic or diving deep into research, these resources are like your personal academic mentor. You just go and explore, and you will be amazed that you'll find a lot of new information, a lot of research papers, and this is good for when you're doing literature review, right? So well, that was all about other data collection tools. So guys, now let's talk about other data analysis ICT. And In our previous session, we already talked about quantitative data analysis, ICT tools. We also talked about qualitative data analysis tool. So you should go back and watch. Well, I'm gonna skip these two slides because we have already covered, in depth on these quantitative data analysis tools and also qualitative data analysis tool. So let's quickly move to another important stuff that is very important. That will be like, use of ICT in research for plagiarism. Very important that you should know about it. So if you're writing something and sometime what people do, like, they write something which is already there, right? So how you can just check all these plagiarism? There is Turnitin, and we have Urkund, very famous, and a small SEO tools which basically search the content and all over the internet, and then match it. If it is plagiarism, it will show. Otherwise, well, you are good to go. Anyway, most important, most famous is Grammarly, that I personally use and I personally recommend. Well, they have this tool, but remember, if you want membership, you can get it and access for a year. I think they have that yearly plan. But by the way, Grammarly is the way that you can do, and all the other tools also you can use, right? So that was all about plagiarism tool. Now let me tell you about the use of ICT application in research for bibliography and citation. Well, if you're writing humanities and other areas, there are like MLA style referencing that we talked about in our last session, right? And how you can generate it by typing all the things by on your own. It'll just take a lot of time, right? And sometime you'll miss something, some comma you might miss, or some full stop you might miss. So we have tools for you, like BibMe, Citation Machine. We have Citavi, CiteFast, and CiteLighter, Decor, a Recipe for Success, AutoBiv, Scribber that I personally use, and it's very useful and very easy to understand. So Scribber is the tool that you can also go for. Then we have RefDot, Zotero, EasyBib, and CiteThis for me, right? And also in Grammarly they have that features that you can mention. And also there is in Google Doc, if you're writing in MLA format, that you can also select and cite in MLA format. They have that features as well, right? So now let's talk about one of the important topics in research, which is our research ethics, right? And this is very important. Think of research ethics like the rule book for your playing fair and being nice in the world of research, right? It's all about doing things the right way, respecting others, using resources wisely, and making sure nobody is cheating, right? And research ethics helps researchers to not only do their jobs but do them in a way that's good for everyone involved. It's like having good manners in research, right? So you should have research integrity, right? And this is about being honest and clear in your research. Imagine you're a detective, right? You wouldn't want to make up clues or hide evidence, right? And that's what research integrity is about. You have got to stick to the rules, be honest in your report, and accept the professional standards. If you're doing research, it's on to to make sure it's something people can trust, and no making stuff up, no twisting the truth, and absolutely no copying to others' work. Very important, right? So you should maintain research integrity. Right, now let's talk about intellectual property. Well, think of intellectual property rights as a superpower that protect your cool ideas and invention. They're like the legal shields, patents, copyright, trademarks, and trade secret that keep your brain children safe. This is super important because if people can't protect their ideas, they might stop creating new stuff, right? And there would we be without new invention and creations, right? So intellectual property rights should be there. And minimize the risk of harm. When you're doing research with people, think of them as guests at your party. You need to let them know what they are signing up for, right? That's informed consent that you get, right? And keep their secrets confidential and not trick them to avoid deceptive practice. And also, just like at a party, they should feel free to leave whenever they want, right? So that should be like withdrawal option. Treat them with respect and care. And then we have like obtaining informed consent. So this is like asking someone's permission before you borrow their stuff, but more serious, right? And if you're researching people, or using their personal information, they need to clearly, say it's okay. This means they understand what they're getting into, right? They're saying yes on their own without being pushed, and there's a record of their agreement that should be documented. And remember, if someone's not in a position to make a free choice, like they depend on the researchers, you have got to be extra sure that they are really okay with it, right? And keeping secrecy, the next is confidentiality and keeping secrecy. Basically, if you're doing research that involves people, you have got to keep their info under wraps, right? Don't let out secrets that could hurt them. It's not just about being nice, it's a legal thing. You have also got to let your research, people know if there are times when you can't keep things like, in secret. But anyway, now we have another option, that is avoiding deception. Well, imagine someone's studying you and you don't even know it. Sounds creepy, right? That's what happens in secret research, where the folks being studied don't know they're part of an experiment. So researcher, need to be careful about this stuff, because it's a bit of gray area, right? And another is like right to withdraw, right? Everyone in your study should have like get to out, and right to withdraw, because they should be able to bail anytime, no question asked. This gets tricky in secret studies where people don't know they're being watched, but still no forcing everyone to stick around, right? And then data fabrication. These days a lot of things happen. Let's say you need information from 100 people, but you only got, like 90, right? It's super wrong to put makeup, all other whatever is left, like 10 data is here, right? So you put it. So fake data is like building a house on a sand, so it just doesn't hold up. So if it is 100 people, then you should find 100 people. You cannot, add extra 10 on your own. That is data fabrication, right? And then data falsification, it's like blending data to tell the story you want and not the story that's real, right? For example, if you twist the number to make it look like watching Netflix all day, doesn't affect test score when it actually does, right? So that's falsification, right? So I'm actually talking about that hypothesis testing and also, sampling error. So you should also, pay more attention in that data falsification. Then there should be no plagiarism, right? Ever copy someone's homework and pretend it's yours? That's plagiarism in research. It doesn't matter if it's from a book or a blog or your buddy's essay. If it's not your original work and you don't give credit, that's a big, crime you're doing. So it's very important that you should pay attention in plagiarism. You should find, and as I told you, a couple of tools that you can just go and check, right? So, and then misuse of fund. So research money is for research, right? Not for your living the high life. Don't be that person who uses research funds for a fancy coffee machine or fake receipt, right? So keep it legit, right? And rules of the game, like laws and regulations. Research isn't a free for all. There are laws and rules, both local and international, that you have got to follow. So these rules are there to make sure everything is above board and ethical. So guys, that is all about research ethics, and also that is all about research aptitude. We have studied, from the research definition types. We also talked about different types of methods. Then we also talked about the steps of research and all the steps involved in it, right? And we also talked about thesis writing and style of referencing. Then we also talked about ICT and research ethics. Well, a lot of things already have been discussed. You can just check out other videos, and remember that is the last one on research aptitude. In our next session, we're going to talk about questions on research aptitude that NET has asked in the past 5 to 10 years, right? So that will be very important session that you should attend. And before attending that session, I would suggest and I would recommend that you should go back and watch all the session that we have given. And when you do that, what happened, trust me, you will know every single thing about research, A to Z, and there should be no problem in the exam when you attend, right? And you will certainly be able to answer 5 or 5 questions. And so guys, that was all about research aptitude, and I'm very happy that we have finally pulled this out with a lot of information, right? So in our next session, we are going to start maybe teaching aptitude, or we'll go to communication, right? Which is very small session that we can cover in 3-4 videos. So guys, that's all. You should subscribe the channel if you really want more videos on UGC NET Paper 1. So thank you so much and have a good day. Bye bye.